in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
Your taxpayer money could be paying soon for private school education, with the Texas Senate approving the so-called education savings account bill. Good morning, I'm Sally Hernandez.
And I'm Tom Miller. This bill would give families $10,000 per student to go to accredited private schools. And now it moves to the House, where previous efforts have failed. It's one of Governor Greg Abbott's top priorities that he declared an emergency item this legislative session. After 7 hours of debate, the final vote was 19-12 on the Senate floor. All Democratic senators voting against the bill, with Republican Senator Robert Nichols also voting no. Currently, there is no version of the bill filed in the House.
And we could also tell you that the last legislative session, when it ended only after Governor Abbott called for special sessions, the governor's priorities including school safety, teacher pay, education savings account, and an election bill. Not one passed in the House, and that left $800 million on the table when it comes to funding public schools. Now, for a deeper dive into how the last legislative session could affect this year, go to our website, KXAN.com.
First warning weather with meteorologist Tommy House.
Hey, a good Thursday morning. Here's the domain captured by Indeed. We'll see some increase in clouds through the rest of the late morning hours, and we could be seeing some sunshine returning by the afternoon. Here's how it looks temperature-wise right now. 55 in Llano County, 58 in San Saba County, 66 downtown Austin, upper 60s toward Milam, Lee, and Fayette counties at this hour. We could see some dense fog as well arriving. I think most of us in Central Texas have the possibility for even a little bit of drizzle this morning. Not accumulating, but still something out the door. But by the afternoon hours, temperatures will get back up into the 80s, 82 today. Could be talking about record-breaking temperatures this Saturday, near 90 degrees before our next big cold front moves through Saturday into Sunday. So clouds, the sun will be on repeat, especially during the morning hours. We'll wake up with some clouds, and then by the afternoon, different story. Weekend temperature change is on the way, maybe some 60s next week in showers. We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Tommy. Financial struggles for Central Texas school districts continue this morning.
Yeah, now Leander ISD says it's going to cut teaching positions, and that's not all. KXAN's Nabil Ramana finds out what this means for the district.
$34 million. That's a projected deficit for Leander ISD next school year.
This is not the way that it should be. We should not be in this position.
The district announced on Wednesday that it will have to cut a number of positions, including teachers.
Most of those cuts have to come out of personnel. And so we announced close to $16 million worth of revenue reductions.
The proposal from the district shows student-to-teacher ratios would increase in all grade levels following the move. And a closer look from the district shows about 68 teaching positions that would be cut, those in high school, which would equal about $4.5 million in savings.
We haven't had any increase in funding from the state, as you know, in public schools since 2019. In that time in Leander ISD, for both the school district and our families, we've seen an inflation of somewhere around 22%.
To address this crisis, we have to give every available dollar that can go to public education to our public schools. But that's not what Greg Abbott's doing.
Texas House Representative James Tallarico, a former teacher himself, saying the push for what Governor Greg Abbott calls education savings is a problem.
That will take even more money out of our neighborhood schools.
Texas must be number one in educating our children.
During the State of the State address this past weekend, Governor Abbott declared education savings accounts as a priority emergency item.
We're going to continue to fully fund our schools, as well as provide teachers with a pay raise. We can do that while also giving parents the choice they deserve.
As for the districts that are having to make cuts, all eyes will be on the Capitol.
We have to fund public schools.
Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
We want you to know that we did ask Leander ISD if any administrator salaries would be cut to also help deal with the district's budget crunch. And we were told we would need to formally request that information. In another executive order, President Trump blocking transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. The order addressed to trans women assigned male at birth. It's called Keeping Men Out of the Women's Sports Act.
And White House officials claim the order aims to protect women's access to safe and fair athletic opportunities. The National Collegiate Athletic Association is saying it's going to adopt the new measure, amending previous rules tied to Title IX. It should be noted that back in December, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the NCAA. It was for allowing trans women to compete in women's sports. Paxton accused the NCAA of misleading consumers by not identifying which athletes were trans. He said that jeopardized the safety of women by allowing trans athletes to participate. And in response, the NCAA communications director said the association would continue to promote Title IX.
There is a new bill being introduced this legislative session with the hopes of supplying more nurses to the rural areas that we see around Texas. It's called Senate Bill 911, or the HEAL Texans Act. That bill targeting restrictions around advanced practice registered nurses, or APRNs, who under current law have to enter into a contract with a physician in order to provide care to patients.
This is about making sure that Texans don't have to choose between seeing a doctor or putting food on the table.
This is not the first time officials have tried to get help for rural communities. Just last year, the governor announced $17 million in grant funding to rural hospitals by the Texas Health and Human Services Commission.
More than 40,000 government employees say they are taking the resignation buyout President Trump's administration is offering. This according to a source familiar with the plans who tells NBC News that number is growing. The agencies included in that offer are the Central Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency. The 40,000 is out of more than 2 million federal workers eligible for the buyout. The source says the Office of Personnel Management doesn't plan to release the exact deferred resignation numbers until after the deadline today. Good morning. This is a live look outside from on top of the KXAN studios in the West Campus neighborhood, just outside downtown, looking back at the city and the skyscrapers and some clouds overhead. Let's go out to New Orleans, though, where that city is taking a lot of precautions, everything necessary to try and protect the city and the Superdome. It includes specially trained dogs to assist with that heightened security.
Important, but very cute dogs at the same time. These dogs can detect different kinds of explosives, and they're joining the already added extra law enforcement at National Guard. Plus, you got the undercover officials, SWAT teams, and federal agents too, all of them watching for people who might pose risks to public safety and those illegally flying drones. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to KXAN News Today.
Former Austin teacher is facing a felony charge after police say he unlawfully restrained a first grader. This is at Riley Elementary School. And KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley found the school district using a legal exemption to keep the boy's parents from viewing that video that caught that alleged incident.
Yeah, records show AISD is not the only school district using state statute to keep parents in the dark when it comes to this.
Last September, Diana Briggs found herself at her son's school asking for a video. She says the night before, her 6-year-old told her an upsetting story, that his teacher trapped him behind their classroom door and pushed into it with his weight, something she shared with the district and police.
I'm thinking about what my son experienced, what our son experienced, and, that it wasn't there to protect him.
There was a video showing what happened, and at the urging of her principal, Briggs says she made a public information request to view the hallway footage.
I talked to the campus police officer who told me that they would have it ready. They just needed to redact the other children's faces. Open Records told me, oh, if the video footage isn't outside and it's in the hallway, we'll be able to get that to you within a few days. My vice principal, my principal tell me, kept asking me, have you seen it yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen it. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna see it any day now.
But nearly 2 weeks later, Briggs got an email from the district saying it was denying her request. Records show Austin ISD then wrote to the Texas Attorney General's office, citing an exception to the state's Public Information Act, giving the district the choice to withhold the video if it believes releasing it could interfere with an active criminal investigation.
How am I going to interfere with this investigation? You know, like, do you understand, like, that it's part of the process of us getting our son help? To be able to tell like a mental health provider, this is exactly what happened because we saw it with our own eyes.
In response to our team and in an email to Briggs, the district said it was following an internal police department policy. It turns out other school districts across Central Texas have similar policies. Several told us they will withhold videos and other records from parents at law enforcement's request.
The parents should be an exception to that. It makes no sense why we shouldn't be. Like, it was our child that was involved.
Education attorney Martin Circule says parents are an exception, not only under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, but also under the Texas Public Information Act, which gives parents a special right of access.
If I want to ask information about you, I may not get it. If I want to ask information about myself or my kid, I'm supposed to get it under the Open Records Act anyway. The information where, once again, this is a video of my child being abused.
Austin ISD declined multiple interview requests. After our questions, the district said it reviewed its policy, but does not plan to change it at this time because they believe it preserves the integrity of investigations. In a statement to KXAN, district officials said in the past, we have had families publicly release videos that are a part of an open investigation. When cases are judged in the court of public opinion, that can jeopardize how the case ultimately gets prosecuted.
They had told us, once the investigation is over, you will be able to view the video once it is not an active investigation.
When the teacher at the center of the case was arrested and charged with unlawful restraint in October 2024, the Briggs family thought that time had finally come.
It's not an active investigation anymore. Allow me and my husband to come see the video.
But once again, records show the district denied their request, this time saying the case is now pending in court, and the district believes the records are still confidential. The district added, we're unsure of how long the case will be prosecuted for, but after the case is closed in court, you can make another request.
What? Multiple people told me, I watched this video 40 times. I watched this video 100 times. I can't believe he did what he did. Multiple. Have you seen the video yet? Okay, well, once you see it, you're gonna have a lot of feelings. It should be something that they want to just provide to us, to help this student, right?
Records show Austin ISD sent 3 letters to the Office of Attorney General over the Briggs' request, all of them asking whether the district was right to withhold the video because of the ongoing investigation and then prosecution. In at least one response from the AG, state attorneys said that they weren't going to issue an opinion one way or the other because the district had not provided all the relevant information. This case, though, is still under review by the AG. We also reached out to the teacher who is no longer with the district and his attorney. So far, they have not commented on the record. In Austin, Kelly Wiley, KXAN Investigates.
Kelly, thank you. If you are listening and you're wondering, why did you not name the teacher in that report? We chose instead to focus on the policy at Austin ISD and surrounding school districts. We will be following up on this case, which is still in the court process.
Meanwhile, we know that Texas lawmakers have already filed several bills addressing parents' rights to these records involving their children. Among those is Senator Bob Hall, who filed SB 1112, is to ensure school districts are not able to withhold information from parents despite the nature of the record. And Representative Sinafrania, who filed House Bill 728 to require school districts to respond faster once parents have asked to view video of their student. Both measures are awaiting a committee hearing. Online now at KXAN.com under the Investigates tab. Explore our digital story and the data we obtained showing how often video footage was released by Austin ISD and when it wasn't.
Big temperature change across the next few days here. Let me step aside and show you what's going to happen. Through this weekend, warmer than normal temperatures will continue, but a cold front will bring some cooler than normal temperatures next week and maybe some rain showers returning. Here's how it looks high temperature wise. 82 today, 84 tomorrow, 89 on Saturday. Many places in Central Texas could be in the 90s. Front moves through, still in the upper 70s on Sunday, and how about 58 for a high temperature next Wednesday. Local conditions right now, we see some fog and increasing clouds building in. That is expected with maybe some drizzle at times very early this morning. 64 at 7 a.m. by noon, 73, and by 4 p.m. 82 degrees with decreasing clouds throughout the afternoon. Find your city here for high temperatures east of I-35, maybe some upper 70s toward Milam County, and then upper 80s out toward Llano County. Winds will be out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's your weekend forecast. Mostly sunny skies on Saturday, increasing clouds on your Sunday as the cold front moves through. Winds will shift to the north. And here's how it looks right now, clouds and radar. Not too much to talk about. We should be dry across the next few days, but that will change Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday. Maybe some showers and some thunderstorms. Here's the big picture. What we've had recently is all these storms getting steered around Texas and actually up toward the Midwest and the Northeast. Several winter storms are on the way. But once our cold front moves through, you're not really going to notice it too much, but that will open the door for some winds to shift and some increase in moisture. Could provide some rain showers from time to time. Here's Monday. Fast forward to Tuesday. How about Wednesday into Thursday? We could be seeing multiple days on end of rain here in the Central Texas area. Big pattern change compared to the dry weather and 80s we've been having across the past week or so. Today, 82, early fog and clouds, some afternoon sunshine. Winds will be out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, could see some increase in clouds again, 64 for a low temperature, and then that fog will be around probably until 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Here's how it looks on the first warning weather 7-day forecast. 84 on Friday, 89 on Saturday, overnight lows in the mid-60s, but watch what happens. The front arrives, and then 79 on your Sunday. Lows go back down to the low 40s by the middle half of next week. A 10% rain chance on your Monday, back up to a 40% chance of showers and storms on Tuesday and your Wednesday. And make sure you download our KXAN First Warning Weather app for the latest updates here through the weekend as we get close to those rain showers arriving next week.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Texas and Arkansas renewing a conference rivalry for the first time since 1991 at Moody Center. Longhorns with a 22-point comeback in their last home game against the Aggies. Last night, Rodney Terry and his crew hoping they wouldn't need it. Well, Arthur Kaluma brought the house down with this dunk to make it 4-2. But after that, Texas goes ice cold. Arkansas runs off 11 straight points. Of course, coming off that win over Kentucky. And part of the problem for Texas, they were careless with the basketball, the steal, the Adu Thero right there, the slam. And Texas, well, they cut it to 6 on Julian Larry's bucket, 30-24. But then they went nearly 7 minutes carrying over to the second half without scoring. Devon Pryor, he actually interfered on the bucket that went in and strained his calf. He would not come back, and you see that lead balloons out, and eventually it goes to 23 as John L. Davis hits a couple of threes. Finally, the Longhorns get some life. Trey Johnson cuts it inside double figures. They actually get it down to 5, but Arkansas makes enough plays down the stretch. Tough one to lose for Texas as they fall 78-70 and now go to Vanderbilt at 4-6 in SEC play. All right, in Atlanta last night, the De'Aaron Fox debut. Spurs taking on the Hawks, and Fox looked pretty comfortable in the Spurs lineup. His first bucket comes on a little step back 3. He had 17 points in the first half. Huge first half for the Spurs. They score 72, and then as so many NBA games do, it all kind of evens out. Tied at 123. Fox, no. Victor Wembanyama, yes. But Hawks come back. Trae Young, little hanging floater right there. He had 32, tied up. So Spurs, Wemby, the slam attempt, he gets fouled with 2.1 to go. So Wembanyama, actually a little bit more than 2, hits the first one. Doesn't really want to give the Hawks a good chance taking it out of bounds, so he quick misses, but still Atlanta gets a decent chance, although from beyond half court, no good. Spurs get the win, 126-125. More basketball at Moody tonight. UT women take on Vanderbilt. It's their first of 4 straight games against ranked teams. Back to you.
Roger, thank you. Coming up, what is next for a plan to use your tax money to help families pay for private education? If you are listening on the KXAN Today podcast, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We hope you join us on air for that story and so many more. Also, always on KXAN.com.